Jimmy here, back again. So you may have seen recently you've been checking out the kind of Viking-related archaeology world online, that there's been a lot of talk about some bronze helmets that have been found, which kind of prove that horned helmets ascribed to the Vikings were actually used hundreds and hundreds of years before the Viking Age started. And this has been touted as news. This has been presented as a headline-worthy. The Vikings didn't use horned helmets after all. It happened 1,000 years ago. And, oh, by the way, we're sat outside because I'm filming this at Segontium, the Roman auxiliary fortress in Caernarfon in North Wales, on a beautiful day. I'm taking advantage of the sunshine. It's a fabulous day. It's a bit cold, but, you know, winter. And I thought it'd be nice to film here. And I was right. This is really nice. So, where were we? Helmets. So, let's talk a little bit about why this isn't news. So this whole thing revolves around two helmets that are now in the Danish National Museum. They were from Viksø, and the Viksø helmets are made from hammered bronze sheets. They're in two halves, riveted together with a crosspiece and kind of this hooked beak type situation, and a kind of comb, like a comb on the top. They've got two massive horns that stick out and kind of do that like cobra look to them, and they have mounts that were either for hair or for feathers at the ends of the horns and on the comb as well. So they're clearly this big, probably ceremonial helmets. They might have been used in battle, who knows? Weirder things have been used in battles, but the general thinking is they're ceremonial. And the big news here that many headlines will be tempting you in with is horned helmets that we always thought were Viking turn out to be Bronze Age. That's not news to any archaeologist studying the Scandinavian material culture who knows about the Nordic Bronze Age. This is not news to anyone who's watched my channel. This isn't the news. The news here is that an article by Vandkilde et al. Has taken some of the carbon dating that's been done on these helmets, and this article is presented for your reading interest in the description. It's taken from a Prähistorische Zeitschrift, and forgive my German pronunciation, but there is a load of really good hard archaeological scientific data in there. There's a lot of the kind of the science of carbon dating in there, and there's a lot of information on there on how they actually came to these conclusions. But the important stuff in the article is what they've actually done is they've taken these helmets and using carbon dating, using the context that they were found in, using the dating of artifacts from other places, including Spain and I think northern Italy, they've basically tried to reduce the amount of time from which these helmets might have come. So originally we thought they were kind of, I think, about 1400 to 900-ish BC, and the thinking now is that they're around 900 to kind of 850, 870 BC, which is really, really cool. I mean, that's fantastic. You know, an artifact that is 3,500 years old, and that is the impressive thing about these artifacts, is that they are 3,000 years old. Being able to whittle that down to a few decades is fantastic. That's incredible. And that is the important thing that's been done here, is that these amazing archaeologists and archaeological scientists have taken these artifacts and sort of put them really neatly into historical context, chronological context. And we already knew about these things. These things were found in the 1940s. I think they were dug up in 42. They had testing done on them since the 70s. Carbon dating was being done on them in 2011, I think, 2013 as well. But we have loads of other artifacts that echo the motifs on these. So with the horned helmets, we have another horn from Grevinge. There's no helmet attached. We have loads of figurines. The cool ones that I think are the most similar and evocative are the Grevensvenger figurines. We've only got one of these guys left. The other's lost, but we have a drawing of the pair of them. One of them holding an axe like that, and the other one's holding an axe like that, and they've got these horned hats. Then we have a figurine from Sweden, from Glassbacker, and we have a horse collar, bridle. I don't know horse things. From Sweden. And these have got these Viksø style men. Like, they're very strikingly similar to the Viksø helmets. They've got the horns and they've got, like, beak. And then there are Danish artifacts. We have the mask from Hagendrup. We have a razor that is from Vestrup. And they all have these really similar kind of horn-beaked motifs going on, which is fascinating and really, really cool. And there are similarities to these Spanish artifacts and these Italian artifacts. That's really fascinating, and of course everybody is now jumping to, well, maybe this is a pan-European religion, but the weird thing about that is if it came from the Mediterranean and went up to Scandinavia, why haven't we found any of them in France? Why haven't we found any in Germany, Switzerland, places like that? And, ooh, a rescue helicopter, that's exciting. Hope that doesn't bugger up my sound too much. So that's kind of the interesting thing about all of this. And the other interesting thing about all of this is the number of people who sent me links to articles about this. And yes, I knew about it because I keep up with the archaeological news, I keep up with a variety of journals and that kind of thing. And it's Scandinavian archaeology, and I have a YouTube channel called the Welsh Viking, so obviously I keep up on this stuff. So thank you to everybody who sent me links to articles about this, but I did already know that the Vikings didn't use horned helmets, and that in the Bronze Age in Scandinavia there are ceremonial bronze horned helmets, because, like I say, we found them in the 40s, they're quite well known. There are some amazing other artifacts as well, like the sun chariot. We have a sun chariot that is even older than these helmets, that has a horse pulling a gilt sun, so like a big sun covered in gold sheet, gold foil, which is just from like 3,500 years ago in the Nordic Bronze Age. Absolutely incredible. And I think that we forget that in the Bronze Age there was a massive heavy industry around extracting and making things from copper and tin and bronze. Here in Wales, in North Wales in fact, we have the Great Orme, Ogogarth in Welsh, and on Ogogarth we have the Great Orme copper mine, which at around 1600 BC was actually the biggest copper mine operating on the island of Great Britain, and pretty much drove all the other copper mines out of use for a short time. It's massive. They've excavated at least 4.5 miles of tunnels. We think that's less than half of the tunnelling. It was producing hundreds and hundreds of tons of copper, probably about 1,500 tons all in all, and around it are these amazing Bronze Age hut circles. Loads and loads of the remains and foundations of roundhouses, and you can't move all over this huge rock without tripping over a hut circle. Here's me in a hut. And it's absolutely fantastic. And if you go on like a mid-late December evening, you get spectacular sunrises like this one. So I do recommend you pop to the Great Orme copper mine when it opens in March. They're not sponsoring the video, but it is a super cool place. I went there on a school trip when I was a kid. It's absolutely fascinating. And actually, if you drive through the town of Llandudno to get to the Great Orme, you have many ways to get up there. You could go on the cable car, you could go by the tram, you can drive, you can hike. It's a pretty cool place to go, actually, is the Great Orme. And if you're lucky, you might see a couple of goats wandering around the streets, because, hey, North Wales! What is North Wales if you don't see ungulates strolling about? I'm from a strange part of the world. Pretty, but strange. But yeah, this is the big cool thing about this, is the fact that we've now got like a 50-year date range for these amazing bronze helmets. And they have nothing to do with Vikings, nothing whatsoever to do with Vikings. Probably not even related that closely to the later Norse religion. It's more likely that it's related kind of to a slightly different branch of like Indo-European religions, but again, we don't know because they didn't write anything down at that point about their religious practice, so we don't know what these helmets were for. We don't know if they were made to honour a god, and if they were, we don't know which god. If they were part of a dance ceremony to do with boats, which is possible because we have rock art like this, which shows boats and people wearing horny hats. We don't know why this was being done. We don't know who did it or who wore the helmets. We have absolutely no idea. All we can do is guess, basically, and make educated guesswork based off other evidence. Which is part of the great fun of archaeology, is a lot of this stuff is just mysteries. Thank you very much indeed to all of my generous patrons, to all my coffee supporters, and to all the rest of my amazing subscribers and viewers. You guys are fantastic. Those of you who press the like button and share my videos are turning this into my job, my full-time job, which is insane to me. So, diolch yn fawr, diolch o'r galon, thank you from the heart. Tan y tro nesa, till the next time. Hwyl am y tro. Bye for now.
Sos